Hi there everybody, this is Matthew here and welcome back to Outside the Ropes. That's right, we're finally back on the air. We haven't been on the air now for about 7 or 8 weeks, but we're back, and this time we're back for good. We ain't going nowhere. As I said, I'm the host of Outside the Ropes, as always, Matthew Moore. What has been going on in the world of wrestling since we left a few weeks ago? My goodness, we've had so much going on, and we'll try and get through it as much as we can and much of the latest news going on in the world of professional wrestling throughout the next 30 minutes. But before we go any further, guys, we did announce on our Twitter and Facebook on Monday night that the show was coming back on the air, and we're back for good. No more weeks off, no more gaps, no more excuses. We're now back. I'm fully cleared of my work schedule. I'm free and available. I am back here to work for this podcast to try and keep this show going, as we have been asked over the last few weeks when the show has been returning, and guess what? We are now officially back. But we're back here tonight, guys. This is it. We are now officially, that's right, officially 3 years old tonight. I can't believe it was 3 years ago that myself and our former co-host Tommy was sitting down 3 years ago and recording a podcast, and it's just grown and grown and grown over the last 3 years. But as of tonight, we are officially 3 years old. So for me, everybody here at the show, whether it be production team, former co-hosts, former production team members, whoever it is involved with this show, from us to you, we thank you so much for the support over the last 3 years, whether it be following us on Twitter, whether it talk to us, send us your emails, which you always do, listen to the show, anything and all you've done to contribute towards this show, whether you've come on as a guest, anybody at all over the last 3 years. From me and everybody here at Outside the Ropes, a big, big thank you. And we have been celebrating the last few days. When I say celebrate, I mean we've really been celebrating. We're so happy that we're back. I'm happy to be back because I love this show so much. And I've been heartbroken that I haven't had a chance to get onto the air to speak to you over the last few weeks. But now, we're back. We're here. I'm so happy to be back. And a big happy birthday to everybody at Outside the Ropes. And thank you guys, once again, for supporting this show, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. As of early this morning, we received a bit of bad news regarding Outside the Ropes. Now, we did announce on our Facebook and Twitter on Monday that myself and Tony were available to come back and start the podcast once again. But as of this morning, we received a little bit of bad news. We have received the resignation of Tony from the podcast. Now, the reason why Tony has decided to leave the show is because of work commitments elsewhere, as he is so busy these days. It's unreal. I don't even get to see him myself, even though he is my brother. But he unfortunately has had to resign from the podcast. Now, he has promised us that he may pop into the show every so often to show his face and say hello and stuff like that. But unfortunately, Tony has decided to call it a day without Outside the Ropes due to work commitments, which is completely understandable, as Tony, has to basically pay the bills and put food on the table and obviously do all the things that you need to do whenever you have to work in this world today, of course. So with a heavy heart that we regret that Tony has left Outside the Ropes, and we hope to have him on the show again someday soon. But it's me now on my own for the meantime. Maybe sometime soon that the producers of this show may do a call out for a co-host of Outside the Ropes, maybe on down the road in the next few weeks or next few months. I haven't heard nothing as of yet. All I've been told today is that Tony has resigned, and I'll be going on my own for the next, months or weeks, whatever it's going to take, and maybe one day they may bring somebody in to join me here on the podcast. So Tony, thank you very much for all your time, bro, and we do appreciate everything that you've done for the show, and hopefully we'll see you on down the road here on Outside the Ropes. Now guys, before moving any further on in tonight's podcast, just want to give a shout out to our friends and partners of this show. If you're fans of professional wrestling, big fans like ourselves, or you're historians of wrestling, again, like myself, of course, and a lot of our fans who listen to this podcast, go to Wrestling's Past. They are the location to hit. If you want to check out their website for regular updates on the history of wrestling, go to wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk. And unbelievable tweets for their history of wrestling and on this day tweets, etc. Follow them on Twitter at Wrestling's Past for all the news and ongoings in the history of wrestling from today and the past. Wrestling's Past is the location. Now guys, what has been going on in wrestling since we have last been on the air? We've had SummerSlam, which was a great event. We've had NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, which was just out of this world. We've had another NXT special a few weeks ago on the WWE Network, which was even awesome as well. We've had title changes. We've had just so much going on. But I want to try and get into some of the latest news that's going on in the world of wrestling. Big shout out to our friends at Pro Wrestling Ulster, by the way, who had a show this past Sunday night in the Europa Hotel in Belfast. Some of their great photographs and stuff like that was shared on our Facebook account. Don't forget to check out their website for future shows coming up. I think it's next month, which is prowrestlingulster.co.uk. Also, our friends at wrestling.ie will be doing a lot of shows as well coming up soon, so don't forget to check out their website, wrestling.ie, as well. But wrestling along at the minute, let's have a look straight into it. WWE, first of all, this coming Sunday, Hell in the Cell pay-per-view is going to be off the chain. We've got some fantastic matches on the card. Obviously headlined by the return match from SummerSlam, the controversial finish at SummerSlam between The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. We're going to have a Hell in the Cell match this Sunday with those two, which is going to be absolutely awesome. We have Brock Lesnar on the Stone Cold podcast this past Monday night talking about the match, saying it's going to be carnage. But I want to know, guys, who you'll be rooting for this Sunday. We're going to send out a couple of questions over the next few days on our Twitter account and stuff. Who are you going to be rooting for this Sunday at Hell in the Cell? Me personally, guys, I think I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. It has been announced that this will be Taker's last ever Hell in the Cell match. Whether it's going to be his last match in WWE, I don't know. But it is going to be his last Hell in the Cell match this Sunday. So I'm pulling for Brock Lesnar this Sunday, guys. I think Brock Lesnar is going to get the upper hand this Sunday at Hell in the Cell. Also, we have a WWE World Heavyweight title match between Seth Rollins and the Demon. That's right, the Demon Kane, who returned a few weeks ago on Monday Night Raw. We've also got Intercontinental title match on the line. We've also got a John Cena Open Challenge, which he obviously got the title back at SummerSlam, which is quite good because he's given all these mid-card guys an opportunity. But for what I've been reading the last few weeks, that Cena is going to apparently drop the title this Sunday at Hell in the Cell, and it could possibly be Dolph Ziggler. That's right, Dolph Ziggler. Now, you hear that Cena is going to be taking some time off from WWE to go and do maybe a reality TV show. I don't know. But yes, this coming Sunday is doing a United States Open Challenge. And for what our sources, I'm reading as well, that Cena is possibly dropping the US title this coming Sunday. Let's talk about the tag team division, guys, in WWE at the moment. What's been going on in the tag team division the last few weeks? It's been really entertaining, so to say. We had the return of the Dudley Boys the night after SummerSlam, which was just unreal. The Dudley Boys have been on television every single week since the night after SummerSlam, which is brilliant to see the Dudley Boys back in the WWE, and they've been feuding with the New Day. Now, they did have a tag team title match at Night of Champions. They also had a match at a special event that they had in Madison Square Garden a few weeks ago, which was another great event from WWE. But the New Day are now facing for the third time this coming Sunday the Dudley Boys for the WWE Tag Team titles. I'm hoping, and it looks like it's going to happen this Sunday, guys, the Dudley Boys are going to become a 10-time World Tag Team Champions in WWE. I think it's going to be a great match. They've eliminated Xavier Woods from this, by the way, guys. This Xavier Woods crap that's been going on the last few weeks, as annoying as hell it is, it's getting over with the fans. It's pissing the fans off. It means it's working. And it's good to see that the New Day's getting. Only one thing that creeps me about the New Day, guys, is this silly dancing that Big E's doing, and these really ridiculous, creepy-looking faces that he's pulling while he's wiggling his hips like a creep, which is just absolutely disgusting. But that's just the New Day. That's why they're doing it, to get over. But they are getting over. But this whole wiggling the hips thing, and it actually creeps me out. Gives me the heebie-jeebies watching. Don't get me into it. But yes, the Dudley Boys are fighting them this Sunday for the tag team titles at Hell in a Cell. This coming Sunday, guys, we will be doing a Hell in a Cell pre-show, which we'll obviously be asking you to send us in your predictions for this Sunday, which you can do it by email, outsidetheropes@yahoo.com, or also on Twitter and Facebook, of course, because we're going to put that out. Send us some of your predictions and questions for this coming Sunday night's Outside the Ropes Hell in the Cell pre-show podcast. But yes, that's going to be this Sunday, guys. We're looking forward to that. Let's talk about NXT. What has been going on in the world of NXT recently? NXT is blowing up at the minute. They've had so many great events. Let's talk about Brooklyn to start off with. The shows in Brooklyn, they had the special event. Then they had the NXT tapings in Brooklyn. Unreal. And also, the thing that's impressing me the most is the women's matches. The women's are being given the opportunity to be in the main event, and guys, they clearly have delivered. Bayley versus Sasha Banks, the last two matches they had at NXT in Brooklyn, and also the last special they had, Takeover Respect, which was just unreal. 30-minute Iron Man match, which kept me entertained as a fan for the whole from start to finish, which was just a great match. NXT at the minute is just looking unreal. And if you're watching NXT tonight, because this obviously this podcast goes out on Wednesday, we're going to have another new star on NXT. Now, you all know it's been all over the internet the last few days. We even shared as well. Another TNA guy has now jumped ship to WWE on NXT, as in James Storm. That's right, James Storm has joined WWE. In the last few months, guys, you think about it, or the last year or so, maybe more, they've had Xavier Woods, where Austin Creed, they took the Dudley Boys away, Sting, James Storm, Samoa Joe. So many guys have left TNA. I'll talk about TNA in just a moment, guys. We'll fill a bit in about TNA. But NXT at the moment is hot as hell. The matches are out. I had the Dusty Rhodes tournament as well recently. The Tag Team Classic. It was fantastic. You know, we've had a great last few months of TNA, or NXT, sorry. Long may it continue, because it's looking absolutely... The future, is looking absolutely off the chain. It's looking so much bright, and the stars they have down there now, the young stars they have down there, is unreal. Now, they have lost another star, which was announced today. Tyler Breeze has been called up to the main event, which he will be debuting on SmackDown this Thursday night. I do have the results for SmackDown, but I'm not going to read the spoilers, because we never read spoilers out here on this podcast. Don't want to give out spoilers to ruin the show for you, of course. But Tyler Breeze is left, which is good to see. But overall, guys, NXT at the moment is looking so much awesome. It's unreal from head to toe. Great product, great show. I look forward to watching it every single week, and long may it continue, especially with their special events are just off the chain. But let's move away into TNA. Where should I start with TNA? Well, they signed a new TV deal with Sony 6 in India. But for what we hear, they're losing their TV deal again in the United States, which is due to expire, for what I hear, December. Whether I'm wrong or not, don't quote me on that. They are talking with other networks. But their biggest pay-per-view of the year, which was at the start of the month, Bound for Glory. Guys, I tuned into the event live on the internet, and I watched it, and I watched about 10 minutes of it, and I turned it off. I've always said in this podcast that the one event that I always watch every year for TNA is Lockdown and Bound for Glory. And Bound for Glory this year, in my eyes, was rubbish. Absolute garbage from top to bottom. Criticise me for saying it, I don't care. Yes, Matt Hardy won the world title. Then he gave it up the week after. Doesn't make sense. But the biggest show of the year, compared to 5-6 years ago, unreal. TNA at the minute, guys, looks like its backside's about to fall through the floor. I just can't watch it. I even tried to watch it the next day with Tony, funny enough, and I couldn't watch it. We both cringed, and it was like, this is rubbish. Turned it off. In fact, we fast forwarded to the main event, watched the main event, and then we turned it off. That was it. Just absolutely. And the fact that they're losing all their stars. Now they've started this World Heavyweight title tournament. They must be desperate for talent. The fact that they're putting women into the men's World Heavyweight title tournament. What is going on with TNA? Guys, I want to hear your thoughts on it. You can send me a tweet at Outside the Ropes, on Twitter, and an email. What is going on with TNA? TNA just seems to be, I don't know, can they get out of this? It just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. I don't know. I can't watch it. Tony watches it now and again, and he would send me a text now and again saying that he watched TNA and this happened and that happened, and I'm kind of like, really? I don't care. Honestly, I just can't think. Well, anyway, some news that I heard today, actually, which is quite good. I wanted to bring this up on the podcast today. Everybody knows former WWE star and son of the British Bulldog, Harry Smith. Well, it was announced today, or I think it was maybe today or maybe yesterday, that David Smith, or Harry Smith he's wrestling as, he gained the rights to the British Bulldog's name, which is absolutely awesome. He as everybody knows now, he wrestles in Pro Wrestling Noah. At the moment, he's put it out to the public, stating, "A big announcement to be made. Ownership and trademark of the British Bulldog has been granted, won and paid by me. Now go forward in Pro Wrestling Noah, I will be known as the British Bulldog, Davy Boy Smith Jr." Fantastic. I think that's great. I think he should have been called that anyway from the start. But yeah, the British Bulldog's son is now being named after his dad, obviously with the junior on the end, which is great to see. So there you go. Other thing I wanted to bring up tonight, guys, on the podcast as well. Everybody knows, well, everybody's heard about it on the internet. I don't know why you've seen it. For all you people who listen to us in the UK, watched an episode of the Talk Wrestling Show on Challenge, where Bret Hart appeared on it, talking about the DVD that the WWE apparently are bringing out of his brother Owen Hart. Now, a lot of people have been talking about it on Twitter, talking about it on Facebook. You know, this Owen Hart DVD. You know, Bret Hart has openly said that it's the biggest pile of crap. I want to hear your thoughts on it. Obviously, it's not out yet, of course, but you know, I want to see this DVD when it comes out. Apparently, they don't show a lot of stuff that should be shown in an own DVD. This is due to Martha again. A lot of Owen Hart fans have been extremely pissed off about this on social media, and obviously there are different podcasts and stuff like that. But I would like to know, guys, what your thoughts on Owen Hart, this DVD coming out. It's long overdue, in my opinion. I think Owen Hart should have been put in the Hall of Fame a long ass time ago. But this DVD apparently is coming out, and the Hart family are not very happy with this. But I would like to hear your thoughts on this, guys. You know, the whole thing about the Owen Hart DVD coming out. Owen Hart fans, just let me hear your thoughts on it. Now, another thing I wanted to bring up on the podcast, guys, we haven't talked about this at all, because we haven't been here. We did talk about the passing of Dusty Rhodes just before we went off the air there, but we never talked about the sudden passing of another legend shortly after Dusty's passing. We lost another legend in Roddy Piper. Now, I know Roddy's been gone for a while now, but we didn't talk about it, as I said, on the show, so I'd like to give my thoughts on it. When I heard the news that Piper had died, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was an actual rib. But whenever the news was confirmed that Roddy had passed away and had left us, I was shocked. I mean, the fact that we lost two legends in a short space of time, I couldn't believe it. Just couldn't believe. But then the news, it hit me like a ton of bricks. But very, very shocked to hear the news that Roddy did pass away. What another legend of the business. Never forgotten, of course, of all the things that he done. We could talk about Roddy all night in this podcast. It'll probably take about 2 hours to talk about some of the stuff that Roddy has done. But me personally, guys, my feelings towards it is I was absolutely heartbroken. I still can't believe it to this day that Roddy Piper has left us. It was nice to think the WWE done for him. But I still think about Roddy all the time, and Roddy, sorry. And again, my prayers and thoughts go out to his family, and you know, it's even hard to talk about it because it's such a touchy subject for me. But growing up watching Roddy Piper, was always entertained with the stuff that he used to do in his WWF run, WCW run, bits and pieces that entertained me, but more his WWF run back in the 80s and early 90s. Yeah. It's hard to, accept the fact that we've lost two great legends in such a short space of time. So rest in peace, Roddy, and you never be forgotten. Other news today, guys, I just found out today as well, and we've had another retirement from the world of wrestling. Ezekiel Jackson apparently has hung up his boots. So it's reports are saying that now he's wrestled his last match. We all know he started in 2007 in the WWE, but then he went into the likes of Lucha Underground and other promotions across, like TNA appeared on once as well. But apparently Ezekiel Jackson has hung up the boots, and that is him finished with professional wrestling, which is, quite sad really when you get a good big man like him. Former Intercontinental Champion as well, so it's good to see. Another bit of news, guys, that I was reading today as well before I come on the air here tonight. There's a documentary apparently coming out very, very soon on former WCW star and brief run in WWE. What do I call it? During the invasion angle, Buff Bagwell. Apparently there's a documentary being released on Buff Bagwell very, very soon. So keep an eye out on this documentary coming out in the next few weeks. Also, Kurt Angle, was in the news today, giving a bit of an update on his physical condition. Apparently, Kurt is feeling the effects of being back on the TV again, and he has been written off TNA TV again as of late. It's quite disappointing. I'd like to see Kurt Angle maybe come back before he officially retires and do one more run in WWE, but he's been written off TNA TV. I mean, we all know he had that operation on his neck again recently. I think it was like a tumour or something he had in his neck. But Kurt Angle has been written off TV yet again. Now, guys, if you're going to watch NXT tonight, don't forget to check it out. We have the debut of James Storm on tonight's NXT episode. I'll be tuning in on the WWE Network. Bit of a late one for me tonight, but I'll be tuning in. Don't forget to check that out. I want to give a wee shout out again, guys, to some of our friends and partners of this show. Don't forget to check out our friends, if you live in Ireland, of course, here, Pro Wrestling Ulster and Wrestling.ie. Over the Top Wrestling in Southern Ireland are having fantastic shows. If you're listening to us from Ireland, Over the Top Wrestling, you have to check those guys out. I'm dying to get to one of their shows. I have more free time now, so I'm hoping to get to more local professional wrestling shows soon. That was the only reason why it was holding me back, guys, from being the shows before, because of work schedules and stuff like that. But I'm looking to get to more shows now as soon as I can. Don't forget to check out Fight Factory Pro Wrestling as well, down south too, and Main Stage Wrestling, which is another great promotion down in Southern Ireland as well. Don't forget to check out our good friends as well, guys, at British Wrestling Radio. Dino and all the guys. I hear Dino's actually got himself a foot injury. Big well wishes to Dino out there. Hope he's doing well. I seen a photograph on Twitter of him actually yesterday with his foot up. I don't know the full extent of his injury, but I hope he's okay. But make sure that all the guys at British Wrestling Radio too as well. If you have a podcast or an event you want to hear being plugged here on Outside the Ropes, let us know. Tweet it to us, email it to us, and we'll tweet it or send it out on this podcast. You know, I want to get more involved now with you guys because I've got more time to do it. So yes, keep the information coming into the show if it's an event in your area or anything else as well. I want to give a big shout out to ICW in Scotland as well. They've sold out a big arena for their big show coming up. I can't remember the exact date of it. ICW Wrestling in Scotland. They've done a video announcement that their latest big show is actually sold out. So big congratulations to ICW in Scotland. So yes, I want to give a big congratulations to that as well, guys. As well, I want to ask you as well. I want to ask for more suggestions for you. Now, we did used to have a segment on this show called Jackass of the Week, where we used to pick the biggest jackass in professional wrestling and give them the award of Jackass of the Week. We're talking about this in the production meeting today. We're going to bring that back starting next week, but we want to ask you guys for some opinions and for some suggestions for segments for the show. Whether it be anything at all you can think of, something that you'd like to see on the show, any suggestions for this podcast for the future, because we're trying to reshuffle the deck and try and rebuild this show again into a good, well, it is a good show, but I hope it's a good show, but we're trying to make it more interesting by having segments and different things like that. So let us hear your opinions on this here, because we are open to listening to all your opinions as well, and obviously your suggestions for segments, etc. for this podcast. But we're sitting here in the studio at the moment. Yes, we're in our wee studio now. We're sitting here, and we've got a lot of production team around us here at the moment as I'm recording this podcast, and we're all excitedly happy that the show is now officially 3 years old. I'm so happy again, guys. I can't thank you more than enough for downloading the show every week on iTunes and podcasts, on Speaker, and listening to us on YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm more than happy. I really can't get over the fact that we're actually 3 years old, but there you go. Guys, it's going to bring us to an end, but I know it's a bit of a short and sweet birthday episode of Outside the Ropes, but we're going to go away here tonight. We're going to watch NXT, SmackDown tomorrow, but don't forget, guys, this coming Sunday, we're asking you guys for suggestions on, what your suggestions are. Sorry, your predictions. Sorry, predictions. I can't speak right. I want to hear your predictions for this Sunday's Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. Send us your predictions on Twitter at Outside the Rope. Also on Facebook. We're going to put up a wee question on Facebook. Ask for your predictions. Also by email, outsidetheropes@yahoo.com. We have a website, which is outsidetheropesradio.com, but it's down at the moment. We're trying to get that back open again. I know we've been saying that for months, but we're now in time to get that website up and going. But yes, I want to hear your suggestions for this Sunday's show. Also, guys, if you want to be a guest on the show, I forgot to mention this as well. If you want to be a guest on the show on our Skype wall, get in touch with us now and we will bring you on this show. We'll interview you. We'll talk about wrestling with you. We'll do anything you want. You want to talk about wrestling, obviously wrestling related, of course. Let us know, and we will Skype you. We will talk to you. We'll interview you for the show. If you want to be a guest, let us know. You know how to get in touch with all the sources. So there you go. One final shout out before I go. Don't forget to check out our friends and partners of this show again, Wrestling's Past again, at Wrestling's Past on Twitter and wrestlingspast.blogspot.co.uk. And of course, don't forget to check out all the promotions that I mentioned in tonight's podcast as well. Again, thank you so much for all your support. We're going to go off here and we're actually, tell you the truth, guys, we're actually heading out for dinner tonight. So we are all of us are all heading out for a meal, a few cold drinks. I'm having Coke, of course, because I'm driving. I'm only kidding. I'm not driving. No alcohol for me. But yeah, we're going to go tonight to celebrate. We're going to have a celebratory dinner. The boss has told us, though, no photographs for Twitter. Disappointing, of course. Sure, what can you do? But we're going to go out and celebrate tonight before we'll come home early and watch NXT and stuff. So big thank you everybody who is part of this podcast. So we're going to go and celebrate our birthday, guys. Thanks once again. I'll be back on Sunday for the Hell in the Cell show, and then back again next Wednesday for another edition of Outside the Ropes. So for Matthew and everybody here at the show, thanks for all your support for the last 3 years, and we'll see you all this Sunday.